question. In the state of deep sleep, what is the Sthāna, Vāchā, Bhoga, Shakti, Guṇa, and the name of the Jeeva identifying with the state of deep sleep. In the state of deep sleep of the Jeeva, Sthāna is a Hridaya. If you say how, you will have to find with the yogic way alone, otherwise there is no other way. Vāchā is Pashyanti, sound manifested in the mind as an object of internal vision. So one time I remember somebody asked me, it's a very silly question, he said, can we do mantra jap in Pashyanti? Oh, it's such a buffoon asking this question. You can't, how can you do that? Even in the Madhyama, the sound is unmanifested. What to say about Pashyanti? Sound manifested in the mind as an object of internal vision is Pashyanti. So actually it is not a sound. So how can you do japa in Pashyanti? And there are some gurus who are propagating this, that until you do the Madhyama japa and move on to the Pashyanti, you have not done the true japa. And their herd of sheep who are following them is crazily believing this nonsense. Sound manifested in the mind as an object of internal vision is Pashyanti. Bhoga is Ananda, Shakti is Dravya, substance. Guṇa is Tamoguṇa. Prāgya is the name of the Jeeva identifying in the state of deep sleep. Now, it is not that Vishwa is different and Tejas is different and Prāgya is different. The thing is that, for example, when you go in the kitchen and cook, you are a cook. When you sit in a car to drive, then you are a driver. When you sit in the hall to receive the guest, you are the host. So, are you three or one only? So, it's a one Jeeva. The Jeeva, the Chidabhas, is the Vishwa, is the Tejasa, is the Prāgya. It's not that they are three. So Sthāna is a Hridaya, Bhoga is Ananda. In Jagrat, the Bhoga was Sthūl, gross. And in dream it was Sukshma, subtle. But in deep sleep it is Ananda. Now, this means Ananda cannot be called subtle. Cannot be called subtle. So there are certain things which the languages cannot comprehend. And it is very difficult to communicate what it was. So the experience of deep sleep is something which only you know it and only you know it. And if you wish to explain it to somebody, what can you say? Oh, I had very good sleep. I slept like a log. Hindi, घोड़े बेच के सो गया था. Somebody said घोड़े बेच के सो गया था. His wife yelled at him. Why did you sell the horses? How much money did you make? I said, oh no, it's just an idiom. Right? How can you explain what the sound sleep experience is? Mind cannot, and intellect cannot create those sentences. And what you experienced, the Bhoga, what you experienced is Ananda, so inexplicable. Shakti is a Dravya. Dravya means substance. It's like a substance. It is there. You know, if sometimes by logic somebody says, if you can't explain it, then it doesn't exist. Well, it is a very solid substance in one way. And even if the whole world says there is nothing called deep sleep, you will say, well, I know it. Because you know it by your experience. You don't need a psychiatrist to tell you that you haven't experienced. And Guṇa is Tamo. Tamo means darkness, ignorance, inertia. And that is what happens in the deep sleep. Prāgya is the name of the Jeeva, which identifies the state of deep sleep. Question: how can the state of deep sleep be illustrated? Pay attention. A piece of jewelry falls into a well and a diver jumps into the well to fetch it. He may or may not find the said ornament, but in either case, he is aware of both the circumstances. However, whilst in water, he cannot articulate the same because the vitalizing force of speech being Agni, fire, whose nature is inherently contradictory to that of water, this contradiction results in the inability to speak. See how science is working here. When the individual comes out of the well, then both the motor sense of speech and its vitalizing force become functional. Thus he is then able to say whether the ornament was found or not. Analogy. In the state of deep sleep, there exists Sakshi Chaitanya Rupa Samanya Gyan of the present bliss and ignorance. Two things are there. There is Ananda, but then there is not knowing. Like that. Not knowing. Not knowing. This is the experience. However, the medium of acquiring specific knowledge, viz. the cognitive senses and antakaran, are non-functional in the state of deep sleep. Hence, there is no explicit knowledge of the same in that state, and it remains subliminal on waking. The medium of acquiring specific knowledge becomes functional again, hence there is explicit knowledge of the bliss and ignorance experienced in the state of deep sleep. Second illustration. Butter kept out under the sun is liquefied. On being kept in shade, it will solidify. Now, who says that India had no understanding of science? Can you see that? There's a whole psychiatry coming in. There's a whole physical science coming in. There's behavioral psychology coming in. There is elemental, the physics part is coming in. This solidified chunk will melt if kept out under the sun. Again, analogy. Deep sleep is marked by the presence of ignorance in the form of causal body. In the states of dreaming and waking, the same transforms into the form of an active intellect. In deep sleep, it reverts back to the form of causal body. Now, everything is rising. Remember, it's not that first the physical body was formed, then the subtle was formed, then the causal body was formed. No, it's actually vice versa. It's first the causal body, then the apanchikrit antakaran, and then the panchikrita physical body. So the world is not going outside in, it's actually inside out. Third illustration. A child goes out to play with his friends. After playing for some time, the tired lad comes back home to rest peacefully in his mother's lap. After resting, when his friends call him out, again he runs back to the playground to play with them. Analogy, the causal body of ignorance is the mother. The intellect is the child who plays with his friends. Who are friends? Karma. Performs his due actions in the dream and waking playground of the world, and after the resultant mental agitations, the child intellect returns to the lap of its mother, ignorance, and through this dissolution, it experiences pure, supreme bliss. Now, one point over here comes is that why doesn't the intellect rejoice this Ananda which is made available every night because of sound sleep to all of you? Why don't you rejoice? Because there is no intellect. So this Ananda is experienced, and yet the mind and the intellect have no clue about what happened there. It's just the fake and little memories which you have just a little before waking up, and your mind and intellect tries to recollect how the sleep was. So the general or the light quality of sleep too is very, very relaxing and peaceful and calm and restful. So the mind uses its imagination and then says, oh, I had a wonderful sleep. But the mind and intellect actually do not have the direct experience of that state. Now, in a way, I can say that this one experience of deep sleep, in a way, is propelling your stupid minds to have same kind of experience which you had in the deep sleep, but in the objective world. Now think logically. Is it possible? The Ananda which is experienced in deep sleep, in a way, is the purest of all. There is no sifting happening, because there is no mind. There is mind and intellect. Analyze, and imagine. Now there is absence of these two, and it's just pure bliss coming, right? And it's experienced also. Yet the mind and intellect will never know how it came, what the experience was, but in a way is trying to find that same experience in objects, food, bodies, clothes, ornament, this, that. It's still looking for that joy. Actually, even in sex, it is the same experience which the mind wishes to have. Otherwise, why would there be this so craze of this physical intimacy in human mind? It's a totally unrestrained and very wild. Why? Because the deepest desire of the mind is to have Ananda. But in all gross objects, there is going to be some kind of slavery to even get a little reflection of happiness through them. And whereas you had the purest Ananda in the deep sleep, but problem is there is no mind and intellect which can brag, oh today, nobody brags in the morning and from the mouthpiece or calls the press and says, see, I had a great Ananda in the night time. Now if somebody says I had a great Ananda in the night time, the people will think he had a very good sex. They would still not think about that he is talking about great sleep. So the lure of, maza aa jaye bas, kha ke, pee ke, by eating, by sleeping, by sensual experiences of all the senses, I am saying, all the 10 senses. It's not just one. Yeah, back of the mind it is always the sex. Then comes your tongue which wants to eat, then it's your eyes which want to see, then it's your ear who want to hear good words and music, then it's your nose which wants to have great fragrance, so on and so forth. But there are all these 10 senses which are looking for that Ananda, but looking at wrong places. Hence I can write it down, a legal document, and say and proclaim that if you live your whole life accumulating worldly objects, yet you will never experience the Ananda. And actually, you can experience the Ananda just by sleeping. So that's why there's another lure. You can't forego your sleep. It's so difficult. Right? So difficult to leave the bed. Why? Because the Jeeva is experiencing such a bliss. Get up, do asana. Why? Get up, do arti. Why? God is Ananda. I am experiencing Ananda already lying on the bed, then why should I get up? Very logical. One of my chela always used to, sleep late. And one day his mother said that, why don't you wake up? Guruji always says, wake up in the Brahma Muhurat. He said, listen, what do you do in Brahma Muhurta? You do meditation on Brahm. And in deep sleep, I'm already doing that. So why do I have to first stir up my mind? Disturb it first. And then put so much effort. Do pranayama and do mantra. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And then bring that state. I'm already enjoying it. Not saying wrong. In one way, not saying wrong. So here the Vedanta is giving you the license. You want bliss? Okay, there you go. You see, that's the reason why this lure of drinking liquor is there. Because liquor gives you the think initially. Until it rots your brain and your liver, the people have their 2-3 drinks and then then we sleep very nicely. So why do they drink? Actually for a good sleep. Why do people have sex? Because some people use sex as a tranquilizer. It's like their sedative. They have sex, they can sleep very well. Why do people take sleeping pills? Because they want to sleep well. Why you want a good house? So that you can. Why you eat good food? So that you can sleep well. Why you wear my elder sister, we were what, maybe 8 or something. She must be 2.5 years senior to me. So she goes to mother and she says, Mommy, can you get me a night suit? If I wear night suit, I'll sleep so well. And Mommy gave her a big slap. And already you sleep so much. Why do you need a night suit? So that you can sleep well? So it was a slap. The Punjabi mothers, oh God. For them, for every problem, there's just one solution. From left and right, they can slap. So why would you need a night suit to sleep? You already sleep too much. You have to be dragged out of the bed and you want a night suit. So she still remembers that slap, even now when she is almost 58 and she's, oh, what a slap I got. But see the lure of sleep. Here they are explaining it. Why? Because that's the only place where you get unadulterated bliss, unadulterated, soothing, relaxing, calming, rejuvenating, wonderful state. Now here, we go back to the story. Who are the friends? So when karma friends call him out again, the intellect reverts to the dream and waking playground of the world and restarts the play of karmic interactions. So you people have very bad friends. Fourth illustration. When a clay pot floating in the sea is filled with the sea water and submerged into the sea, then the water in the pot becomes one with the water in the sea. Yet it retains a distinction from the form of the clay pot. When it is pulled out by a rope, the water in the pot reacquires a separateness from the sea water. However, the all-pervasive space, which is the substratum of the existent sea, water and pot, is not separate. Space exists as the one in all the 3 streams of time. Analogy. Filled with the sea water of ignorance is the clay pot of this subtle body. Subtle body, clay pot, filled with sea water of ignorance. Tied with the invisible rope of accumulated karmas in the state of deep sleep, inclusive of the state of unconsciousness, death, and pralaya, the universal dissolution, when it dissolves in the macrocosmic ignorance, was Maya, which is the upadhi of Ishvara. Then avidya, the microcosmic ignorance, which is the upadhi of Jeeva, unites with the macrocosmic ignorance, Vāchā, Maya. However, despite the apparent unison, it remains distinct due to the impressions of its previous karmas on the subtle body, and under the influence of Ishvara, the unseen rope of destiny pulls out the subtle body, re-imparting a separate identity to the clay pot of the subtle body. What pulls you out from the sleep? It's the karmas. So as long as the karmas are there, you will be waking up from the sleep. Even when somebody dies, it is the death of the gross body, the subtle body is very much alive. So this subtle body is propelled and towards the next destination, to the next body, so that it can enjoy the fruits of the karmas done and also continue its journey of being stupid. And the continuity of stupidity goes on. Because when you are looking the joy from this transient world, you are stupid. When you forget that your own real form is of Ananda, your intellect is stupid. So what pulls the person back into new birth is again the karma. Why the karma? Because the ignorance, the ajnana is still there. So as long as the ajnana is still there, you will be propelled, your intellect will be propelled out from death, from unconsciousness, from sleep. And even if this whole universe kind of perishes through pralaya, what we call. Pralaya is when all the gross elements go back to their subtler forms. Obviously, it's destruction of everything. What pulls back? That again everything gets manifested and formed. It's again the sum total of the karmas of all the jivas who were residing on that particular planet. Like say this corona situation is the sum total pap karma of all people. And now see, everybody is being punished at the moment. Who is doing it? It is the sum total of the sinful karmas done by the jivas, and the nature is now using its unseen whip and left and right. See how the bodies are falling. So it's a time when every person living on this earth, irrespective of country or race or your economical status, is in this great fear that if this infection comes to me, I'll be gone. Initially they said children are very prone and vulnerable, and the old people are vulnerable and this and that. But lately what we are seeing is very young people are also dying. They might have some compromised health issues, we don't know. But what I mean is this universe is functioning on the totality of the karmas of the jivas. So in a way, everybody is just part of that one family. You can't say, I don't care. That's why our sages always did these prayers, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Let everybody be healthy. It's not just for one person or one body. So the sum total of all the jivas will be that rope which will pull out this creation from dissolution into again another manifestation will happen. Nevertheless, the substratum of all avidya along with the subtle body and maya is the singular Chidakasha, the all-pervasive, ever-conscious sublime existence. It is not distinct. The one exists in all the three streams of the time. Who exists in all the three streams of the time? Sakshi. Sakshi, what we were, English is witness, witnesses of the courts. Why Sakshi is the appropriate word? Sakshi means the one who was present at that situation, who has seen that event, who is not related to that event, and who is not a party to those, say, two person who were fighting, is not a party to anybody. So is like a silent spectator. So in the court of law, such witness is accepted who fits into this definition. So I am the Sakshi who has witnessed Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and who is witnessing the running of this world, and who will also see the destruction of this world. Mind you, not the mind, not the intellect. Not that. Question: what is proved by the term state of deep sleep? Answer: if it is the state of deep sleep, I know that. If there is absence of wakeful and dream states, I know that as well. Therefore, neither am I the state of deep sleep, nor is it mine. It is the state of the causal body. I am the knower that witnesses it like an onlooker of a clay pot. In this manner, I am the witness of the state of deep sleep. So the mind knows, the intellect also knows, and I also know. One common word, know, or kano.